3 chapters in, and Ayashimon is still pretty fun. I like the main character. I think the premise is working pretty thoroughly into the story with nothing seemingly kind of like too crazy yet. Like the introduction that Urara is like the child of the former head, and she's like trying to pretty much bring down the entire empire in like revenge for what happened to her father. Like that's like it's only a couple steps really after what we already knew, so there's nothing kind of like really big established in like in the story outside of like the base premise of what the story is. And this chapter, I figured we were actually gonna have another chapter where we find like a new ally to join the main cast. I figured there'd be at least one more before we kind of like start moving ahead. And the one girl isn't even there, so I don't know if she's gonna come back or if she's gonna end up being a permanent character later, or what the exact situation with her is. But this chapter didn't seem to have much of anything other than a bit of a couple chunks of information, and then a cool character moment from I think it's Maruo is how his name is pronounced, or Marao maybe, because of the UO. I think I'm probably gonna go with that. I think it is that, because I think that's what the UO kind of like ends up spelling. I don't think it's like I think I was saying like Maruo or something before, but I don't know. Either way, this dude, I think calling him Kaido is just the easier way to do it. But with Kaido, he's pretty much just finding out about like the whole red light district they're at. And at first, when she's like, say, don't get too dazzled, and he's like, no, I'm gonna be completely fine. I've seen it on TV, it's whatever. And then they actually get there, and he's like, just like, he is absolutely shaken by how like crazy it is. And she makes fun of him for saying that it was like Disneyland, like he's some some country clown. And she's like, whatever, just follow me, and stuff will get and stuff will be fine. You'll see what's going on. There's a couple parts in this chapter I was really surprised about. It's a little weird in that the when they're showing the people, and like there's the first part, and there's like some guy that's just getting kicked, and then a dude eats him, and I'm like, you figured that you'd be a little bit kind of weirded out by that. You just saw a dude get murdered, and granted, we don't know the premise of what happened, but it's like, they're just killing people. She said it's a feeding zone. Cops turn a blind eye to the human death. And it's just like, wouldn't you be really kind of freaked out by that? You just watch dude you'd get completely aggressively killed. And this is what, chapter 3, so it's not like way later in the story where he'd be used to it. This is probably, I would at least assume, the first time he's like just seen a casual murder. And I don't know, I thought that was just really strange the first time I read it, and I wanted to bring it up. Just because I feel like a main character, not even a main character, a person, like any random dude would just be like, what the fuck is this? You'd just be unsure of how to process what goes down with that. For at least like the first time you see it. But other than that, there's like stuff with like tanukis and like a bunch of like tricksters doing stuff to kind of like win over humans. There's like ones that are doing like I don't know if it's supposed to be like a brothel thing going on there, but also there are some with like some fox girls. There's just a lot of sussering going around in this whole area. And there was a character that we did get that might join the main cast, and that's one of the things I was wondering about this chapter, but it's not really confirmed. There's this like kind of shorter dude getting hassled by a dude with like this face tattoo, this kind of like big thuggish looking dude, and he's up kicking him over, and the smaller guy's form kind of gets weird. I don't know what kind of yokai he's supposed to be, but Kaido goes in, and then this other dude looks really cool, this fire guy, and he doesn't know what he's getting into. Like, this guy was not set up to be a fairly formidable first opponent. This guy is okay, we're getting into the swing of things. I'm gonna have my main character flex on some random goon really quick, just to kind of give us a bit of information on how he thinks. Because I really did like how this chapter did it. And like the dude goes to punch him, Kaido goes and grabs it, and he's just talking up to Aurora now. She's like calling her older sister or elder sister because she is the boss, so she is ranked above him in seniority on how the the systems of these gangs work. And he's like saying how like bringing up when she was saying that like the strong eat the weak, and this was what I meant by like a good character moment when he's saying for him it thinks it's cooler for the strong to eat the stronger. So it's this idea of climbing the ladder of strength. And again, he is in his mind trying to be a shonen main character. So this is pretty much his setup for it. And I thought this was pretty cool because it does give us a really strong insight into how he thinks and how he kind of views this whole battle scenario that he's now put himself in. And the dude just spits fire at him. I really like the visuals. The art is really good in this. And he ends up grabbing a door. Like, how does this has this door and ends up blocking it? And there's a really funny moment where, because it's a metal door, it still gets really hot from the fire. I actually thought that was pretty funny, just as a light joke in there. But Ura it just tells him to kind of like lean it up to kind of like direct the heat upwards to set off the fire extinguishers, and kind of just goes and punches it, breaks all this water in, puts out the fire, and then goes in and just absolutely bodies this guy. And one thing I want to bring up, and I don't think it's going to be the case. I'm really hoping it's not the case. Is like his attack has like a goofy name to it because obviously he's like his thing is he's still obviously really low in his level of his adventure. He's kind of goofy in his whole idea of like what he wants to be. In theory, like in idea, but obviously this is actually a shonen manga, so he is a main character like he wants to be. It's not like a dude in real life who's just going to work and this is his goal in life. But he ends up killing this. Actually, I don't think he's dead because his head is still active at the end of the chapter, so I don't really know what's going on with that. But he ends up punching him, and he pretty much blows this dude apart. Like chunks of him are going everywhere, and that's what I meant when his head like lands on this dude's like cart or something, or this dude like tray, and he like responds. He's like, huh? And so I'm guessing that he's alive, and maybe like because of his type of spirit, this isn't a mortal wound to him. But one thing I do want to bring up, and I don't think it's going to be the case, is that I'm really hoping that this character isn't kind of like a Saitama-ish character where he's too powerful. But obviously, like, Saitama's like a different structured story. But I'm hoping that they don't make Kaido too powerful too early. Like, I think he should be above, like, standard goons. But anybody that's worth any value, like, early on in the series should be a formidable fight to him. And we're just gonna have to wait and see and like what gets set up, how the first couple battles of the series actually go, because we've only really had the one shot so far, and then the fight in this chapter 2 was for the most part not on screen. So we're gonna have to wait until probably a few chapters more, and then maybe we'll get an actual battle. Because one thing that was mentioned is this wasn't an official ritual duel, so this is just again more like a flex chapter and a bit like of information dump. Good chapter, nothing too crazy. I did like it though. I did like just seeing the main character just be the main character in his series. There's a couple of things I do wonder, and I think it'll probably be like something that'll come to the surface. One, if the series does survive, and two, if the main character ends up getting to a point where his just raw brute force can't overtake an opponent, and maybe he'll get a power at that point. Because right now he's just a physical powerhouse. He doesn't have any abilities, but maybe he can get a power at some point. But anyway, other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, prefer the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. But on that, appreciate everybody's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.